Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jaron from Jeranism. I'm back with another live video for you today. It is Thursday, September the 19th, 2019, and that's read the same backwards as it is forwards, believe it or not. 9/19/19. Wow. Isn't math crazy? Thanks for joining me. Shout out to the chat, as always. Appreciate you guys all being here. And, of course, as always, I do have to thank my patrons. Without them, this video, this live stream, this channel wouldn't be possible. So thank you all so much for supporting what you like and what you enjoy. So thank you very much. If you want to see more from me and from this channel, well, become a patron. It's quite easy to do. You just go to patreon.com/Jeranism and you become part of the coolest club, this side of Cut and Shoot, Texas. I don't know. Insert whatever city or place you want there. So join them. I'd certainly appreciate it, and it will be fun for all. Okay, let's get on to today's show. I've titled it, NASA AcTORnauts are astronauts. Get it? See what I did there? Pretty fun. We're going to discuss this. We're going to discuss their recent Emmy Award. Woohoo! And, I don't know if you guys know this. Something interesting. I always like to bring up interesting things. You know that. But I purposely put the Emmy Award facing to the right. Why do you say? Why would you do that, Jaron? It's because according to their rules and regulations, you have to face it to the left. Can you even believe that kind of horse shit? So because I read that, I was looking up the Emmy Awards. What does it mean? Where does it come from? Et cetera, et cetera. And I saw the hilariousness that it must be facing at all times to the left. And I said, screw that. I'm facing it to the right. Sue me. So, to everyone in the Emmy industry or whatever, sue me. It's facing to the right because NASA AcTORnauts are astronauts. So that's kind of where we're starting today. Again, thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Glowbusters in the house. Thank you very much. Appreciate you joining me as you normally do. Rasa Snowfire. The Brad Pitt movie was ridiculous. Have you seen it? I don't even know it was out yet. But Stu B says, I'll be your boyfriend. Thank you very much. It's appreciated. But I'll pass. Liberals are gay are in the house. That's nice. Yo-Yo here from NC, baby. Hey, welcome to the show. Artem Brayson, always in the house. How is he here so fast? I don't know how people pick it up so quickly. But thank you very much. We've got 180 watching now. Hopefully that number rises. But if it doesn't, hey, I'll talk to 3 people. I really don't care. So if you're one of those 3, then you're in good company. That's my opinion. We've got Hardcore Ninja Kendall said, is this for Bob and Jaron's Nobel Prize? Yes, it is. So hope that makes you happy. Bob first, me second. But yes, it is for our... we got Flat Out Faith saying, here we go. Yep, showtime. All right. I was just checking the chat, see if anybody's interesting in here, see if I needed to give shout out to Ace McLeod. Doesn't look like that's necessary. Artem Brayson. Always in the house, so appreciate that, and you'll have your hands full, I'm sure, with all the people that hate my videos but watch them for some reason. That's the thing. I get it all the time. People just can't stand my videos, yet make videos about me, and they love to watch me. So I don't know if they know this, but it doesn't matter to me whether you like it or not. Just watch my show. Thank you. Appreciate it. I do think you should watch what you enjoy, and not burden yourself with watching nonsense. That's why I don't watch these other guys. But it's up to you, whatever you want to do. I don't watch them because I don't want to give them views, and I think what they talk about is nonsense. It's just a bunch of crap. It's just a bunch of consensus. It's a bunch of bully tactics, and then they just go to consensus and stay there. Why would anybody want to watch that? If you want to do that, just go read a physics book. Done. Easy. That's all those guys do is sit there and say, Flat Earth is so dumb, it's so stupid because I can read this physics book. And when I read right here, it says that gravity is real. Says Newton invented it. He discovered it. And then Einstein just tweaked it. And now it's all real. The fabric of space-time is bent because of the mass of the round planet. Thank you, Parish Mike. Appreciate that. Anyway, yeah, Leanne, thank you very much. And that's what I'm trying to say. There you go. Eat it, bitches. I'm going to actually show that. Show. There you go. Yeah, but that's the way it goes. I don't care about them, and they care deeply about me. So I guess in a way, I'm touched. But in another way, just go do something you enjoy. Go watch Bill Nye. It's fun. It'll be fun for you. All right, so let's start out with space news. I'm going to get a little audio clip there or some sort of video clip so it looks really cool when I say that, but don't have that up yet. So for now, you just got to deal with it. Space news with Jaron from Jeranism. Here we go. All right, so from the AP News today, I saw this was classic. Excuse me. NASA manager casts doubt on 2024 moon mission landing by astronauts. Well, so does the entire flat Earth community. So does anybody who pays attention to space, anybody who knows what goes on with space and space travel and the promises made. Of course, we all know that there's going to be no landing in 2024. Well, now even NASA knows it, right? Even NASA will come forward and admit this. Basically, here it says Kenneth Bowersox, acting associate administrator for human exploration and operations, told a congressional subcommittee at NASA, or that NASA is doing its best to meet the White House imposed deadline, but he noted, I wouldn't bet my oldest child's upcoming birthday present or anything like that. Which, how much is his oldest child's upcoming birthday present? $200? $150? He wouldn't even bet that. It's pretty, not a lot of faith, if you ask me. Bowersox, a former space shuttle and space station commander, said it's good for NASA to have that aggressive goal. Real aggressive to plan something you did 50 years ago. It's the most aggressive goal. We're going to make a real aggressive goal here. We're going to land on the moon. Whoa. First time you ever done that? No, well, we did it 50 years ago. Oh, that's aggressive. That is an aggressive goal. It's just such nonsense. Just crap. If you heard anything about somebody going to some place, I don't know, in the Midwest, and they said they were going to go there, and you tried to say, no, they're not going to go there. Come on, who believes this nonsense? But again, if they've been there 50 years ago, and they've got $56 million a day coming in, then it would be pretty good odds for you to say, yeah, they'll definitely do that. They'll definitely go there. I've already been there. But no, not when it comes to NASA and space and everything else. What's important is that when we launch, we're ready, that we have a successful mission when it launches. I'm not going to sit here and tell you just arbitrarily we're going to make it. But we made it. Does that make any sense? I'm not going to just sit here and tell you that we're going to make it to the moon. We did 50 years ago, but, we lost that technology, and it's a painful process to get it back. You've all heard that a million times because it's hilarious. And what's more fun than making fun of NASA? If you ask me, nothing. So that's pretty easy. There's a lot of risk in making the date, but we want to try and do it. We did it 50 years ago. There's a lot of risk in planning something 5 years from now, right? Makes a lot of sense. The Trump administration urged NASA in March to accelerate its latest moon landing plans by 4 years to 2024. The request, of course, came a few months ahead of the 50th anniversary of the first lunar footsteps. If you want to believe that, and if you do believe that, get out. Leave. Shouldn't be listening to me if you believe in the moon. It's just like evolution. If you believe in evolution, get out. Okay? Something I want to really get across to people is that you have to understand who we're dealing with, who these people are. Many people have the ability to see through fakery. They understand that things like evolution are only taught in school because they're pushed. They're part of the curriculum. You have to believe it. You have to teach it. Well, space is the same thing. But there's a lot of people who have seen through that. People who can step back and say, wait a second, this seems like a bunch of lies and a bunch of men getting together and say, no, this is true, and we can figure out how to date rocks and all this fun stuff. And you can either believe it or you can laugh at it. I laugh at it. It's hilarious. It's not true. Can't date rocks. You don't know the Earth's age. You don't know the universe's age. And if you think you do, if you happen to think that you live in the 50-year period of time where human beings, which remember, we're just little ants on a big rock. We're just little germs on a big rock. If you think those little germs on that big rock were able to figure out the age of the universe that they exist in, get out. That's all I got to say. So if you go on to read this, it basically says that, I like this line here. It says, NASA's replacement for the Apollo-era Saturn V5 rocket, the Space Launch System, or SLS, is still in development. We'll figure it out eventually. Its launch debut has slipped repeatedly. Of course, it always does, and will continue to do so. This is what they always do. According to Bowersox, it will now occur no earlier than the end of next year. The initial test flight will send an Orion capsule around the moon with no one on board. The space agency still needs to come up with new lunar landers, rovers, and spacesuits. Why? Are we just wasting money? You already done this. You already have a lander. It did fine. It did great. You already have a rover that folds up into a little box. You can put it in your pocket, in your shirt pocket, and just take it to the moon and unfurl it. Here we go. Unfurl it. Get in it and drive miles. And you even have a craft above it that can go by at 13 miles high and take images of the tracks. Okay? You have all that stuff. Spacesuits, you have spacesuits. They worked tremendously. Guys were falling all over themselves, throwing hammers at each other's feet. Everything was fine. So why does the space agency still need to come up with new landers, rovers, and spacesuits? Other than it's all a hoax. It's all actors. It's all nonsense. It's all to get your money. It's all a jobs program. I understand people hate when I say that because it might make them feel like, well, NASA's really necessary then. It is a jobs program based on lies. Fakery. Fantasy. Movies. Thrills. Oh, inspiration. It inspires the next generation to get into the sciences. But nobody's going anywhere. We have one home. The home is the Earth. And that's it. You're not going anywhere. You're not going to do anything. It's all pretend. It's all fake. But they can keep showing it to you in movies. They can keep showing it to you in CGI and put some people on wires and you'll believe it. So, more power to you. For me, I don't believe it. I say no. No, thank you very much. But of course, they say, we got to have this gateway. It's got to go around the moon, and then we'll get to the gateway, and from there we'll drop this. They have all these different plans rather than just use what you did 50 years ago that worked without a hitch. Okay? Anybody believe any of that? Get out. Please. All right, so now we know, according to this NASA manager who cast doubt on the 2024 moon landing, so we've got NASA's own people saying we can't even do what we did 50 years ago. The good thing, however, is that according to the news from the other day, yesterday, September 18, 2019, we learned something interesting. The first space hotel is set to open in 2025 with cruise ship Disney amenities. The first hotel in orbit above the Earth is set to open in just over 6 years. We can't get to the moon, which we've already done. We can't get there. But what we can do is create a hotel in space. It's a spinning circle thing here, coming from the gateway. Now, many people might remember that I've already discussed this Gateway Corporation, Gateway, I don't know who they are, whatever they are. Look at this. Oh, look at this. So pretty. That's spinning. Everyone gets artificial gravity inside. If you think this is coming in 2025, what is wrong with you? You're already gone. You're out of your mind. You will literally believe anything. And my guess is if you believe in this, you'll believe in stupid shit like evolution. Easy. Why not? Here you go. You'll just get to step around inside these windows and sleep in this bed and look outside. And I'm sure it'll be quite cheap. Yeah, right. Here we go. Some pictures. Now, most people, if this was the space station, they'd say, this is proof that the space station is in space because it's got a view of the Earth behind it. But they don't understand this is just CGI. This is just a PNG located on top. Now they'll say, but nobody's saying that's real, Jared. I understand that. But you have to understand how it's so easy to fake it. But again, can't go back to the moon. Won't be there in 2024. You'll be able to hitch a ride on this spinning wheel of death in 2025. Okay. You believe that? I don't think you should. Now, here's the interesting thing is, and I mentioned this in an earlier video, and we'll also be taking a look at a throwback. We'll call it Throwback Thursday as I show you portions of an old video. But before we get to that, I do want to point out that I've already talked about the hilarity of building this thing. Okay? So let me bring up this so we can put it a little bit better. Nope, not that one. This one. There we go. All right, let's let you watch from here. This is, in case you didn't know, so this gateway that's going to be built, this spinning wheel of death, which is what it'll be if anybody actually thinks they're going there. Let me just make sure you understand how it's put together, okay? Because you'll see that they're going to deliver these things, and then these arms come out. In case you didn't know, maybe you didn't know this is how it'll all go down. It'll grab these trusses and feed them in, and then slide this down. This thing will make the floor. Basically, it will weld it together. It's got these welding robot machines here. So then the floor will come in, you'll weld it, you'll add these top and bottom pieces, and then add the support structure. Of course, all robotic. Okay, then we'll just pass it along, and it's like, okay, now we'll do the next section. That all's fun. Fun and games there for sure. But it gets even better. As you go further along, you'll see that we've got to bring these pieces out. Remember, this is all constructing that huge wheel. It's going to be in space. Then come the flying robots, okay? Because you need to move this piece over to the left, so you grab, there you go. And here goes the flying robots. And this is going to be complete by 2025, by the way. It's going to be obviously being done. Here we go. Here's the structure. The flying robots will move over each little section. And this person with VR will be able to say, come on, bring this in. Lower it. That's about right. Thank you, flying robot. Now, can we seal it? And then this little sealer robot, it's like a drone, but it seals iron in space. There you go. And here's the construction clock. You'll just add all these pieces with robots. And then you need to do the GSAL reconfiguration, which is an important part of this. And we need more robots. Here they come. These flying Elon Musks. And then you'll do this circle thing. Right, you'll build it like that. And yeah, in only 145 days, you'll be able to turn the lights on. Then you'll have the hub complete. And if you believe any of this, then you need to leave. Again, teach their own. If you want to believe in this, Jetsons fantasy, go right ahead. And then here we go. Now, you thought we were done with this part. No. We still have to do the outer ring and all these support trusses, and then you've got the spinning wheel of death. And then get it going. There we go. We see how they just squirted these little RCS thrusters on this big sphere thing or circle thing, and then fly in space. It's hilarious that they think, flat Earth is so funny. And they say, oh, a flying disc in space, which a flying disc in space is hilarious. The only thing that's more hilarious than a spinning globe is, of course, a spinning disc frisbee in space. That's just hilarious to me. Really good stuff. I screwed up here. Hold on one second. I messed up my thing. The new Minecraft is amazing. Thank you very much, Clinton Carr, for the super chat. Yeah, it's going to be incredible. I cannot wait. Of course, they won't have video of this going on. It's I don't know if you've watched the space program for the last who knows how many years, but they actually cannot put any cameras basically in space. They all die. They all go away. I've showed before. They used to have a HD view of Earth, which never worked, and now it's completely offline. That's gone. They have all these missions where they go to asteroids, where India tries to go to the South Pole of the moon, and all this stuff. But is there any cameras on any of these crafts? No. Nope, sorry. It's too expensive to put, a $500 GoPro or even $5,000 GoPro. They can't do that. With all the satellites up there, they just can't do it. It's too much work for them. So I find that all quite hilarious. But again, if you want to believe it, I'm not going to stop you. You go right ahead. But you probably shouldn't be watching my channel. Just going to point that out. All right, let's bring up next. Speaking of, nonsense and how they, I don't know what they try and do with people because here's the thing you have to remember. So we're talking about now this article from The Sun. Don't know if you've seen it yet. And again, as always, all my links that I discuss, all these links to all these videos and everything will be in the show notes right after the show. Give it about 15, 20 minutes for the show to render, whatever it needs to do, and then I get in there and I add all these insights. So The Sun came out with an article, basically, again, making fun of Flat Earth, talking about Flat Earth being a disk in space, saying that, that's what Mark Sargent believes, that we live on a, I don't know what they call it, a flat disk in space with a dome around it or something. It's just hilarious because they have to demonize it and make it sound as silly as possible with the next thing that's the most ridiculous after you're living on a spinning ball flying in a vacuum with an attached atmosphere. It's like, that's what's crazy. That's what's insane. And so they have to come back and say, well, what's even more insane is a Frisbee in space. And you know what? You're right. That's why that's not what I believe. And I don't think most flat earthers believe that. But again, believe what you want. They've just stolen our true home and the knowledge about it and where we live and how fantastic it is and amazing. And no, you're not an inconsequential little piece of dust in a great universe, no matter how you look at it. Whether you believe God created that or whether you believe that it came out of a big bang. Neither would result in a tiny little sphere Earth with little bugs on it who can figure out how long they've been here, living in just the vastness that we can't even comprehend. Miles and trillions upon trillions of miles and light years. All that is just such crap. But again, if you believe in evolution, if you believe nothing exploded into everything, and then these little tiny mites started to grow on the earth, and before you knew it, they got smart. So smart, oh man. Neil deGrasse Tyson smart. Okay? He knows how long the universe has been here because you can just look up in the sky and rewind time. Doesn't that make sense? And you can take the rocks that you're standing on and you can date them based, of course, on what humans that came up with the dating system say that those dates tell us. Hilarious. Hilarity continues. So anyway, I just think this article is ridiculous. Again, the link will be in it. Does it have some good points? I don't know. Yeah, I guess we just have to learn to expect this from any mainstream news article. That's what you have to realize is just picture for a second that the earth is actually flat. And think of the fact that they've been selling for whatever reason. You can think of many reasons that, that's what science originally thought, whatever you want to think. But this is what they would have to do if people started saying that the earth was flat. Well, what? This is ridiculous. Let's cover it in this news article. I mean, why are they covering it at all? Who cares? If flat earth is just some fringe belief, some nonsense story, why are you covering it in mainstream news? Other than to demonize it and make it look ridiculous. By calling it a disk in space, by making nonsense claims like these ones. If Earth is round, why can you see objects beyond the horizon? Expert. Many factors come into play, such as the elevation of the land you're on. Yeah, no shit, we take that into account. The height of the object. Yeah, no shit, we take that into account. And refraction, causing light to bend. Oh, you mean things lifting up mountains, lifting up buildings and portraying them for you at the horizon line? Wowzers. Wowzers indeed. So anyway, this article, just a bunch of crap. Let's see here. Let's move on to basically the title of this show, or what I wanted to talk about, or what I think is hilarious. Not sure if you knew this, but NASA won 2 Emmy Awards for interactive mission coverage. First of all, the Emmy Awards are the TV awards, right? There's, or you got movies, you've got music, and you've got theater. Those are the only ones I feel like I'm missing one. Anyway, they each have their own, right? You have the Oscars, you have the Emmys, you've got the Tonys for theater, all those things. Anyway, NASA won, and this is just in my opinion, they have to reveal their trickery in some way. And this way, when people say, well, I thought that NASA was real, I thought, no, we got an Emmy Award for our acting. Oh, God, it's so funny. So, they won in the category of Outstanding Interactive Program for Multimedia Coverage of Demonstration Mission 1, a test flight of the SpaceX Crew Dragon. Don't ask me how they won any award for their nonsense where people sit around in a control room. And, if you really need to know about the control room, again, as I've voiced before and we'll bring up again, let's look at the quote by Gene Kranz, just because I think it's hilarious. Apollo flight director Gene Kranz tells everybody in the late 1960s, our simulation technology had progressed to the point where it became virtually impossible to separate the training from actual missions. The simulations became full dress rehearsals for the missions down to the smallest detail. The simulation tested out the crew and controllers' responses to normal and emergency conditions. It checked out the exact flight plan, mission rules, and procedures that the crew and controllers would use for a later flight. Telling you right there how easy it would be for them to develop a simulation inside of a computer system. Wouldn't have to even be a supercomputer, just your everyday home computer. Develop some sort of simulation and send it through to all those consoles, and all those people would believe it. The simulations were so real that no controller, notice it says no controller could discern the difference between the training and the real missions. No controller. So people say, so many people would have to be in on it, man. How do so many people be in on the hoax? How many active astronauts are there right now? 50? Probably even less? 500 people have been to space. You think that many people would have to be in on this? Not at all. Not at all, because the simulations are so real that no controller could discern the difference between the training and the real mission. Oh, by the way, before we get too far, my new favorite product. Pick some up at your next time shopping. Get some NASA tissue roll and wipe your ass with NASA, because so we all should do. And so go ahead and go pick some of that up. No, it's not fake. That is a real item, as you can see some pictures here. The weird thing is that it actually has the A and the S connected like NASA. It's kind of interesting. Don't know if it's actually NASA. It doesn't look like their image. Here it is on a shelf at a store next to some Kleenex. So you can either wipe your ass with Kleenex or with NASA. I vote NASA. But again, it's up to you. Whatever one you want, feel free. But I thought that was funny. Anyway, let's go back to the Emmy Awards here, because there is some funniness in this entire thing. By the way, this is a spoiler. I forgot to mention. Spoiler alert. This has not actually aired. The edited version of the two ceremonies will air on September 21st. So if you were waiting to find out if NASA won, too bad. They won. But I do want to point out who they went up against, because I think it's hilarious. Let's go. So let's go to the first thing that they won. They won Outstanding Interactive Program 2019. Okay. Who did NASA, they were nominated. Okay. So who did they go up against? They went up against Conan O'Brien, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, NASA and SpaceX, The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, The Late Late Show with James Corden, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. This is who they went up against. What? For Outstanding Interactive Program 2019? This is just like a default award. Put NASA in there against somebody and give NASA the award. Notice the Emmy facing left, but I say no. I say face right, as you see. Anyway, isn't that hilarious? I mean, you've got these. What is Conan O'Brien? Well, that's a scripted comedy show, isn't it? Yeah. What is Last Week Tonight with John Oliver? Well, it's a scripted comedy show. Yeah, okay. NASA and SpaceX, the interactive demo launch. What is it? It's a scripted comedy. It's a scripted fantasy. Scripted make-believe. Scripted Narnia. How about The Daily Show with Trevor Noah? That's a scripted comedy. Okay, it's on the Comedy Central. The Late Late Show with James Corden is scripted comedy. Okay. And The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is scripted comedy. So this is who NASA went up against to get the award for Outstanding Interactive Program? What? Oh, boy. It's hilarious. And who did they go up in the other one? Outstanding Original Interactive Program. Why? I don't understand how you can have an original. This one was Outstanding Interactive Program. But then there's also award winners for Outstanding Original Interactive Program. Boy. You had The First Man VR, didn't quite cut it. HQ Trivia and Warner Brothers, a live and interactive animation first. Who will watch that? NASA Insight Mars Landing, a bunch of guys staring at computer screens saying, we're waiting for a tone here. When we hear the tone, we'll know that the Doppler effects have indicated that we're about to land. We got Doppler effects, and we're about 30 meters, and we've landed on Mars. And then everybody cheers and high fives, and it's a great old time. Also, Traveling While Black and You versus the Wild on Netflix. This was who NASA went up against, and they won for their NASA's Insight Mars landing. Oh, boy. Pretty sad. I think it's sad. I think it's just a bunch of actors getting an Emmy for their acting. and because people believe it. Don't get me wrong. A high 90% of people buy this crap. They think it's real. They think humanity's in the stars and that we're going to the stars, even though nobody listening to this in their lifetime will ever go anywhere near space. Yet you believe it. You're never going to go anywhere unless you pay $250,000 to go on a reverse bungee jump, which is all that they do when they send people up, and then they, Virgin Galactic will spread its wings and then they'll let you float down. So it's basically a reverse bungee jump. Throw people up as high as they can. Let them experience a little bit of zero G, which you can do for $5,000 in a plane with parabolic flights. But this is what people think is cool. Oh, I want to give my $250,000 so I can go to the edge of space and look through a curved helmet and a curved glass, and I can come home and tell everybody about the curved Earth. This is what people think is going to happen. I disagree. But again, we'll see what happens, right? I'll be shown to be wrong soon, or we will continue being right, and I will continue talking, and I will continue making fun of this stuff because nothing will change. They'll continue telling people that we're going to the moon by 2024, then come out and say, well, we can't, but then hotels in space will be in 2025. No, then they'll come back and say, well, we're going to go to the moon in 2027. Hotels will be ready in space in 2028. We can't get to the moon. We're going to go to Mars by 2030. Okay, there'll be a hotel on Mars in 2033, on and on and on and so forth. It's been going on since 1970. Same thing. Go back and look. Go to your Google search results. Type in the tool or click tools. Go to custom date selection. Select dates between 1980 and 1985. Look at them saying we're going to Mars. Do 85 to 90. Do 95 to 90 to 1,000 to 2,000. Do 2,000 to 2005. Keep doing it over and over again until your brain pours out on the desk in front of you. Because I've done that, and then you have to clean it all up. It's fun. So anyway, yes, pointed to the left. I say point to the right because it's just nonsense for you to tell me which way a award has to face. This is ridiculous. Oh, by the way, I did want to mention that my website is back up, so everybody can cheer to that. I guess it was attacked, according to what iPage was telling me, that I had to purchase SiteLock because somebody attacked my site, or I don't know if it was just random or they couldn't tell me who or what, just that they were uploading something or something caused some error, so they had to shut down my site and wait for me to get SiteLock, and then they recommended SSL. So thank you to whoever did that. I had to go through all that, but the site is back up and will be cleaned up going forward. So thank you very much for whoever did that. Shut down my website for about a week. But it is back up, so that's all good news. All right, let's go to a Throwback Thursday. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? I agree. We're going to go to Throwback Thursday because I've got to use the restroom real quick, and we're going to watch this. And this link will be in the description. It's a video of mine from a year and a half ago, May 17th, 2018. It was called AstroNOTS High on Science. There we go. Flip that over. There we go. Astronauts high on science and low on intelligence. But let's just, talk about these actors and their stupidity. And let's begin watching this. Pretty funny, if you ask me. I, of course, had the fun intro. Let's listen.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
It's real because it looks so fake.
Pretty hilarious. And anyway, you got all these guys, and this is what you win for, greatest interactive pro. Now, this, of course, was the landing of Curiosity, but the Insight one was even worse. So what they won for was all these guys giving high fives. I believe that's Sly Sparkane. And
Sly.
There we go.
So it makes it very difficult to tell these guys, well, there's Sly again, crying, and yeah, so it makes it hard to tell these guys that they actually, there again, makes it difficult. You know, all they did was land a remote control car on Devon Island in northern Canada. And there you have Sean and Red fighting back tears or herpes. You can't help but feel bad for the fanboys who, I mean, they just really have no idea. Here we get to hear a little bit from Red. Extremely exciting.
Yes!
Now you may be asking, what is all this excitement about? And it's about a wheel. Seriously.
It's the wheel! It's the wheel!
It's a wheel. Yes.
We can see a wheel.
We see a wheel. We see a wheel.
Yeah, a wheel.
Can't be faked.
Very exciting.
Can't be
very
faked.
emotional. Impossible to fake. I mean, you got poor Sean Hufford beating himself up over this.
On that, I'm going to close out. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm sorry I couldn't get Wolfie in. Maybe next time.
Sean, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. I mean, chin up Red's rhetoric. Many people have done far worse. You'll get over it.
All right, so now we're going to watch a little bit of this Astronauts High on Science because it shows quite a bit, and we need to pay attention to some of the delay times because the same thing will come up. We're going to watch Brad Pitt here shortly speak to the ISS, but I figured we'd start out with this, and again, this link will be in the description. But let's enjoy this video, just starting out with a little bit of the astronaut they call Two Fish talking about science, and then we'll look at some of the delay issues, and we'll go on from there. So everybody ready? Enjoy. I'll be back in 10 minutes or so.
Video is just going to point out one instance of complete astronaut stupidity. One thing that's clear is that astronauts should be the cream of the crop. NASA claims that 1 out of 4,000 applicants becomes an astronaut. 1 out of 4,000. Okay, so that means if you grab 100 people off the street, really none of them, maybe one, should be anywhere close to as intelligent as these astronauts. So why is it that I could pull 50 people off the street and they could do a better job of explaining the science that's going on the so-called space station? Let's hear one particular astronaut. His name is Two Fish, Jack Fisher, Mr. Clueless himself. Let's hear him rattle off some nonsense when he's asked what kind of science is being done on the ISS. Let's also make this a little game. So, Jack Fisher is about to answer a question, and that answer takes him 1 minute and 50 seconds. Your job is to correctly predict the amount of times that he will say science or sciences in 1 minute and 50 seconds. Could it be 2 times? Could it be 200? Who knows? Your job is simply to guess. Go ahead and make your guess now. So now that you've guessed, let's hear him out. And anyone who has done any research into astronauts or ACTORnauts will tell you that this is not unique. I've never heard an astronaut sound remotely intelligent. Not at all. These men and women are not the cream of the crop. They are the bottom of the barrel. Don't trust me, though. Go find an intelligent astronaut interview. I dare you. Here we have Two Fish on some podcast. 1 minute and 50 seconds is his answer. What's your guess? How many times will we throw that word science in there?
And you've been working side by side with them for the last couple of months. Just walk us through real quick. What's just, some of the stuff you're doing up there? Because it's a lot more than just flying and stuff like that. You're doing, serious experiment work up there.
Oh, absolutely. The space station is just the most amazing world-class laboratory floating around doing science all day, every day. We're doing science inside. We're doing science outside. Let me turn this off real quick. We're getting an echo, so I don't want you to hear me twice. That's way too much. So the space station, for example, when SpaceX 11 came up, it had 6 tons of science, mostly science on board, that then we had to bring on board, knock out that science, get it back on the SpaceX and back to Earth. That's the job of this place, is just rocking the science. We're doing not only stuff for human health and those type of sciences. There was a great experiment that Peggy was working on the other day with a new drug that actually targets cancer cells. We're growing lung cancer tissue, and it was doing some great work against the cancer. How cool would that be if we could crack the code of that horrible disease that, you know, even my daughter
crazy disease,
fell
yeah.
prey to. So not just those, we're looking just 10 feet from me is a machine called the ELF that's looking at new ways to create alloys that are lighter, that are stronger. I mean, this whole place, every square inch is dedicated to either pure science or the systems that are going to keep us and those science experiments cranking away and getting great results back to Earth to help humanity, to make humanity better, and to enable us to explore and go further into the universe.
That sounds incredible. I'm sure, I mean, besides all the science you have...
Yeah, besides all that science.
Does that guy seem intelligent to you in the least bit? I mean, at all? He doesn't to me. And none of them do.
Well, a few things. First, did you notice the delay? Let's watch again as he tells a joke and watch how quickly these two podcasters respond.
So now, if you've watched any NASA live streams, supposedly live, and people want to tell me it's live, and there's live this, and there's live that, even though it's taking place in some magical place nobody can go to and verify that it's live, they can tell you it's live. But if you look at the delay, it always changes. Sometimes it's 11 seconds, sometimes it's 2 seconds, sometimes it's none. Why? Because it's all edited stuff in which they get Emmys for.
We're getting an echo, so I don't want you to hear me twice. That's way too much. So the space station...
So it is nice to know that they've figured out that little delay problem from 250 miles away, since this was getting a little ridiculous.
Watch this. This is great.
Hello, Commander Fisher and Commander Whitson and Colonel Fisher. It is an honor for all of us and those online to join you and all of your colleagues at NASA in the first ever live 4K stream from space.
I'm so excited.
What is the ISS position in orbit right now?
1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 8 1,000. Oh, it's 11 seconds? 9 1,000, 10 1,000, 11 1,000. Now.
Well, we're just
oh, I'm so impressed.
California, and we're heading in an arc over North
Wow,
America.
so from 11 seconds to 0 seconds in like a year. NASA, scientifically banging out the science.
Constant science.
Science.
Such good science.
Great science. Now, you may have asked yourself, why the red nose? Most people would have guessed because I was equating him to a clown, and they would be mostly correct. However, there might be another reason for the red nose and the sporadic speech. Let's check out this video, and I put a link in the description. This is the exact video. It's not altered in any way. This is the ARISS Ham TV downlink, Jack Fisher K2FSH, Space Center Houston video output. So you can click the link in the description if you want to see this. Let's see if there's anything else that could be causing, I don't know, red nose and spastic behavior.
Now, if you haven't seen this before, it's hilarious. Let me just start with that. And if you don't think it's funny, you have no sense of humor. But the other part that's hilarious is to watch how pixelated he is when he moves. And again, I understand that there's these kind of effects whenever you're watching live TV. You know, maybe you're watching a live baseball game and you'll have these kind of effects happen. But what happens is it happens to the whole screen, not just the moving parts, right? So if you're watching a baseball game, you have the pitcher, you have the baseball player. That's your view. The pitcher throws the ball. If the screen renders out or has some sort of, then the whole screen has these boxes and these pixels. Not just the moving part, not just the pitcher and the batter. Not just though, and then the background, since it's not moving, it doesn't have issues. And that's not the way it works. But watch this. Why would it be in space that if somebody moves, he glitches out, but not the background? Still more hilarity. Let's watch.
That's a great question. There's almost 300 that will be conducted.
So that's just hilarious. We'll watch one more time. But again, watch the glitches, where the glitches are. The glitches are not back here because probably this is a green screen. The glitches are on the astronaut, the moving piece. Separate videos, see? Separate feeds.
That's a great question. There's almost 300 that will be conducted over the
Now,
6
what was he doing there? I don't know. That's why I called it High on Science. Because again, I'll let you watch the video.
That's a great question. There's almost 300 that will be conducted over the 6-month mission.
Okay, let's see that again, because didn't he just... Well, you can decide for yourself. What exactly is going on here? Let's watch again.
What's he doing?
All right, maybe we need to hear the sound again. Not sure. What is he doing?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was an important question myself, and I was just trying to think of what else could I be seeing here. And I've seen nasal sprays. They usually have like a trigger, like this, or they're obviously nasal spray bottles like this. But then I thought, wait a second, there's no germs on the ISS. They say people don't get sick there. They make sure that you're not sick when you go up. He'd been up there for quite a while, therefore there shouldn't be any germs up there. So why does he have allergies on the space station? Can't be allergies. And that stick looked kind of like, yeah, like a tutor. Now let's see what happened just less than a minute later. This is less than a minute after that little snort job.
And mission control, as well as designing the next generation of vehicles and equipment that we need in order to explore further. Over.
Hey, you want to get an 8-ball? It makes faking space a lot easier. All right, I'll get one.
That's hilarious. That's good stuff. At least I enjoyed it. So anyway, there's much more of this video, and again, if you want to watch the whole thing, help get those views up. It's only 56,000 views. I think it deserves 56 million, but again, I'm a little bit biased. I do understand that. So that was called Astronauts High on Science and Low on Intelligence, really just to show that at least this guy, Two Fish, complete and total clown and joker. But again, and what's he doing up there? I don't know. You know, again, the thing is you have to expect there's going to be an answer for all this stuff. We know that. Okay, so they're going to come back and say, oh, he was sniffing his Afrin. Whatever, of course. They can't say, oh, yeah, that guy's up there doing coke. Who knows? So let's move on to... so we were talking about the delay, right? Of course, you have the Trump delay.
You hear me?
Yes, sir. We have you loud and clear.
And many people remember I went through this video and an article about Trump talking to these guys and how right before this little conversation took place is when Trump offered NASA an unlimited budget to go to Mars during his presidency. What was he told? We can't do it. They were given unlimited funds. Now, every time you hear NASA say, we can't do this because of funding, we can't do that because of funding, we can't go to the moon like we used to because of funding. Oh, well, Kennedy gave us all this money that we could possibly need to get to the moon. That's why we were able to do it back then. Trump offered them an unlimited budget to go to Mars and was told we cannot go. But again, we're watching the delay.
Well, that's what we like. Great America.
By the way, thank you to MB for lunch for the $3 super chat. Appreciate that.
American equipment that works. And this isn't easy. But first, I want to say that this is a very special day in the glorious history of American space flight.
And look at her watching her dad, just like, don't mess up. My husband says we need this space program.
Today, Commander Whitson, you have broken the record for the most total time spent in...
Look what it says here. Congrats, Peggy. New U.S. high time space ninja. What the hell is this?
Space by an American astronaut. 534 days and counting.
By the way, if you've done any research on these guys, you know, leaning like this when he's got his head up, that's because there's gravity here. If he was just leaning sideways, then his head would be straight on with his body. There's no reason to bend like this.
And on behalf of our nation and, frankly, on behalf of the world...
Technically,
well, it's actually a
he
huge
should
honor,
be able to bend this way if he wanted.
To break a record like this, but it's an honor for me basically to be representing all the folks at NASA who make this space flight possible.
I don't know about you guys, but when I think of, the best athlete, the best conditioned person to go to the space station and do everything easy. I think a 60-year-old woman. It's the first thing that comes to my mind. I'm like, yeah, 60-year-old woman. Yeah, that works. That's who I want in space.
And who make me setting this record feasible. And so it's a very exciting time to be at NASA. We're all very much looking forward.
Again, listen to these people talk. This is the cream of the crop. This is the 1 out of 4,000 applicants that you've selected.
As directed by your...
Or is this the person that would take money to pull off this nonsense? And you tell them how important it is to the future of humanity for them to understand that we will one day go to the stars, so we need to pretend like we're up there. We're doing all this stuff. We're getting ready for it so that more people are inspired to do great things.
Our new NASA bill, we're excited about the missions to Mars in the 2030s. And so we're actually physically have hardware on the ground that's being built for the SLS rocket that's going to take us there. And of course, the hardware being built now is going to be for the test flights that will eventually get us there.
Of course, eventually we'll get there. Anyway, I just wanted to, watch, and then of course you get the fantastic. Every space thing needs to end with somebody doing it. Yep.
There's our resident space ninja doing the gravity demonstration, and
I've seen Sandra Bullock do it.
Yesterday morning, I had my coffee in floaty ball form.
Oh, I bet you did.
Sir, it was delicious. So it's awesome.
I'm very proud that I just signed a bill committing NASA to the aim of sending American astronauts to Mars. So we'll do that. I think we'll do it a lot sooner than we're even thinking.
Do you think that? Keep dreaming, Trump. I know your lovely daughter here is telling you that, but look
so
at this
which
girl's
one of
face.
you
It's
is ready
just
to go to
scary.
Mars? Are you ready? And I think you're ready. I know you're ready, right? We just
Yeah,
discussed
sure.
that. She'd like to go to Mars very quickly.
Yeah, even though you were given an unlimited budget and said, we can't do it. Sorry, we can't do it. We're not able to do it. This is another interview. Sure, people have seen this one before. Actually, this will probably get, as Owen Benjamin would call it, grabbled. So I'm going to actually change it to this screen. Help me out a little bit. Let's watch a little bit from this and just watch the delay. You can totally tell this is an edited video. This is not real.
International Space Station, once its mission is over, how do we ensure the presence of humans in space?
11-second delay.
Well, that's a great
wait,
question. The
quick.
plan that NASA has is to build a rocket called SLS, which is a heavy lift rocket. It's something that is much bigger than what we have today, and it will be able to launch the Orion capsule with humans on board, as well as landers or other components to destinations beyond Earth orbit. Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit.
It's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system.
Look at this
to
guy
explore.
just reading a script.
The moon, Mars, asteroids. There's a lot of destinations that we could go
Because
to.
it's all scripted.
And we're building these building block components in order to allow us to do that eventually.
Oh, yeah, even though you've already built them.
Samantha, according to a recent survey based on research on internet, you are the most popular Italian woman in the world.
It's all just cut together.
I'm happy that about the outcome of this survey, which again I'm
People
sure
are
it was
probably
meant
on a
in
parabolic
good
flight.
fun.
You could easily cut their answers,
Now
send them
some
in,
quick questions.
or they're on wires. Who knows which method they're using today? And again, it's not meant. It's just like 9/11. It's not meant for you to figure it out. It's not designed so that you can say this is how they're doing it. Period. End of story. That wouldn't be a very good deception. So it's very multifaceted. Okay. Extremely. So just pointing out that these guys are all jokers. If you haven't heard this one yet, let's start watching this. And I believe that this is from NASA. Yeah. Let me try and put this on the big screen. Here we go. Not sure if you saw this. This took place, I believe, 2 days ago. It could have been 3 days ago.
I am ready for the event.
Brad Pitt, this is Mission Control Houston.
Brad
Please
Pitt,
call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Brad.
If you don't know, there's a new movie coming out, or it's out already. I don't know. Somebody said they saw it. I didn't think it was out yet. But called Ad Astra. Of course, about space travel. And Brad Pitt's dad is dead, or so they think, but he's actually out in the galaxy floating around, and they got to send somebody to go get him or something. I don't know. That's what I think it's going to be about. So what do? You have Brad Pitt come and talk to the astronaut on the space station. What an honor. What an honor.
How do you hear me?
Hey, Brad, this is Nick. I've got you loud and clear. Welcome to the International Space Station.
Thank you very much. I got to tell you, this is a real treat.
Oh, it's such a
pleasure to be
treat.
talking to you up there.
Such a treat.
Hey, likewise, a treat for us. Actually, we got a chance to sneak preview the movie a few weeks back, and just want to start off by saying thank you for what you're doing.
What is he doing?
To contribute to the mission of awareness and to set
some science. It's a science fiction movie. It's complete and total horseshit, and yet thank you for the work that you're doing in building awareness around our fake space, fake globe propaganda.
Light that fire in the imaginations of the next generation of explorers.
That's all it's about. Jobs and, lighting the fire in the souls of humans, just like they did with Apollo. But what we could do if we bring all of our minds together and lie to people.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you very much. And now that I have you all the way up at the space station,
by the way,
about me.
They're 250 miles away from each other. Okay. Right above his head. I can easily talk to somebody in Japan through cables, through undersea cables that are almost instant in the communication. Yet this is impressive.
How do we do? How was our 0G?
I got to tell you, it was really good.
What happened to the 11-second delay? How come that guy earlier, we were watching the video, it's the reason I brought it up, the reason I played the old video for Throwback Thursday was because I don't understand why sometimes we have to have an 11-second delay. So silly. But here, there's no delay. What's the difference? Did they just figure that out over the last year?
And the depictions, the settings, all as you can.
Or is this all just Hollywood scripting, movie making, fantasy selling, Narnia?
Can tell look very similar to the type of setting you've got. I've got around me. I got to imagine it was a lot easier for me to kind of enjoy the 0G than it was you, whether it was CGI or hooked to strings.
I'll tell you what, our ship was a bit cleaner. Can you...
CGI or hooked to strings.
I'll tell you what, our ship was...
There's your edit right there.
Cleaner.
They're supposed to be live, right? And watch this.
Whether
again.
It was CGI or hooked to strings.
He's not straight yet, and clip straight.
I'll tell you what, our ship was a bit cleaner. Can you...
It's all just
do you
edited
know what
together.
Everything is on the walls there behind you?
He's got all of his questions right in front of him.
When I first got up here, it looked similar but very different, if you can imagine that, to what we train on in the ground. We had lots of photos on the ground, but up here everything hangs off the walls and there's cables everywhere. But yeah, you get very familiar with it and you know exactly what's going on. A lot of it is storage of equipment, and then we've got different facilities. For instance, this one right here, this wall, helps us research how flames burn in space.
This wall helps them research how flames burn in space.
Which is very different than on the ground. And by removing the effect...
Because we all need to know that. I don't know if you guys don't know how yet, but you need to look into it.
Effect of gravity forcing a certain shape to a flame, we can study exactly what goes on to inside a flame to a greater detail. Helps us figure out how to make cleaner burn.
Couldn't do that in a gravity chamber or a vacuum chamber, on Earth?
Burning engines,
Thank you very much for the super chat from Justice Lord. Appreciate that so much. You guys are very kind.
And get more out of the energy that we do consume.
Huh?
I was curious. What are the certainly what are the repercussions on your body in 0G? Wait, first of all, would it be morning for you there? Would it be night for you there? How do you gauge your waking hours if you see 16 sunrises and sunsets a day?
This guy's just reading. These are things that they've told him to say. There's 16 sunrises and sunsets. These guys are incredible. They're doing science.
So we do a lot to try to manage that circadian rhythm. One thing we do is we use different hues of the color spectrum so that we have morning very bright blue light that we switch, and then later in the day it goes to a more normal, more balanced spectrum, and then at night we get rid of that blue light. And we all follow the Greenwich Mean Time, and that's to help synchronize.
I would think so. So is there a night shift, or is everyone on those hours?
Right, because if you think about it, there's only 4 people there. So what he's asking is there somebody who works constantly, or do you guys actually go to sleep? No, the story is that these guys go to sleep, all of them at the same time, and just leave the thing floating around the Earth with nobody in it managing it. But people on the ground, they're the ones steering it and driving it.
Yeah, so we try to stay, the crew stays on the same through diversity, that we're able to have, successfully operated this station for 2 decades.
It's incredible. I got to go to JPL last week,
Lucky
and
you.
it was on the day when India was landing.
No, they didn't land anything
on the moon, and
Didn't happen.
the United States were assisting them in that.
Notice that. India's going to the moon, and the United States and NASA and JPL are assisting them, which is what I've told you from the very beginning. This is what I've said over and over again when people say, but there's other countries have gone to the moon. Other countries have landed landers there. Other countries have put rovers there. And I've had to tell you numerous times, NASA is involved in all that. All the space agencies work together. That's why they're all up on the space station. That's why they're all friends, and there's no wars, and there's no country boundaries. No, because they're all lying to people. It's all a show. Give them an Emmy.
Effort.
Make sure face is right.
Could you see that from where you are?
No, unfortunately. So I, along with the rest of the crew, just had to follow along with the news reports, and it's one of those things where international cooperation is so important, because a saying we've got up here is space is hard. Things that should be easy, when you try to do them in space, they just get harder. And the things that we're trying to do every day. The team on the ground, NASA and its international partners, do a great job of making really hard, almost impossible things look routine. And it's one of those things where you can get some complacency, but the condition at a global scale is what's going to propel humanity into the future.
Right.
I got to see a little.
Not taking care of the Earth, not taking care of your family, not taking care of each other, not living a good life, taking care of your family, your children, raising them correctly. That's not what's going to propel humanity forward. Going to the stars is.
That they were working on the new rover that's going to go to Mars, and it was an international effort, which was really
skip forward a little bit here.
Everyone.
It's a good part of the country. I've taken lots of photos of it over the past 6 months.
I bet. Congratulations on 200 days. What is that like on the psyche? What is that? I'm sure you're always busy, but at the same time missing family and loved ones at homes. How do you keep your...
No, they're only 250 miles away. There's a lot of people whose family lives distances away, and they can call them. They can Skype them. They can do FaceTime. There's no different.
Mental state.
There's no mental state.
Yeah, absolutely. Being apart from your family, your friends, your loved ones is a challenge. And
boy, let's skip forward a little bit. This is ridiculous.
I'd read astronauts speak about looking back on the Earth.
Now he's read that in front of him during that last answer. That's where he's read that.
And really being aware how insignificant we are in the grand scheme of things.
Let's listen to it again. How insignificant we are.
I'd read astronauts. Speak about looking back on the Earth and really being aware how insignificant we are in the grand scheme of things. Did you have a similar experience or something different?
We're really just like amoeba, like ants, like bugs, like germs on a giant rock flying through nothingness. It's really nothing's important about it. If you really think about where we stand in the universe according to these ball believers, we are. It doesn't make a difference if the Earth just exploded and was gone tomorrow. What difference does it make? You're all unimportant. You were here on accident. You were around for a little while. Neil deGrasse Tyson figured out how long we've been here, and then it went away. What difference does it make?
You know, that's one of the special things about being up here is being able to float over to the window and see the Earth below. To look down 250 miles and you know, with your naked eye, you can see the crop circles in Kansas, in Missouri, and you can see humanity below you, and you can see it glide by as we go screaming through the sky, you know, at 5 miles a second, and just take in, you get a perspective that you know, you're away from the Earth, and then same view.
Listen to this guy talk. This is 1 out of 4,000 applicants. This is the best scientist we could put on the space station.
You can see the moon rising over the horizon, and you get this idea that, you know, I'm not on the Earth, and I'm not, you know, at the moon, but I'm just kind of in the cosmos. And then that perspective really challenges you, because now you're looking down at everything that you've ever known, all of humanity.
You just stole that from Carl Sagan. Keep going.
Right there, and you have this deep appreciation for how big the universe really is.
By looking at the Earth, you have a deep... What?
And for me, it's just made me cherish and appreciate how delicate and how precious the little island we live on really is.
I thought it was how insignificant we are. Wasn't it insignificant that you realized?
I think that's really beautiful to
Oh,
hear.
it's so beautiful to hear.
Okay, most important question. Who controls the jam box?
Stupid. Nobody cares.
This way. I see you tapping your feet every now and then. Are you in a foothold?
Stupid.
And so we had cardiac muscle and veins, and there was a ink printer that we loaded in the inks, if you will, into the printer.
Oh, this part was stupid. Let's listen to this. Oops, a little further.
The film, which we really didn't get to, was this idea of 3D printing. We were going to, this idea that everything would be 3D printed on location. And I understand you all have already adopted some of that, yes?
Oh, you're already 3D printing things up there? Let's hear about it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had several experiments up here. So some of the experiments we're doing here are technology demonstrations to prove out a concept that we hope to apply as we go back to, you know, the moon and as part of the Artemis program. And so things like tools and simple things that might be easy to print on demand when you need them, so that you don't have to launch every conceivable object with you when you're going on that long trip to the moon.
Doesn't that make it easy to fake, huh?
Or that extreme loaded in the inks, if you will. Session with was 3D printing organs. And so we had
3D printing organs. They're 3D printing organs on the space station.
Cardiac muscle and veins, and there was a ink printer that we loaded in the inks, if you will, into the printer, and watched it try to print out samples of tissue.
Because that's needed in space.
It's just incredible to think what the future's going to bring.
Oh, the future's going to bring so much good stuff thanks to the space station.
I got to ask you, they tell me my time's almost up. This is such a pleasure. I could ask questions for hours.
Well, you only have one sheet of paper there. You can ask questions for minutes,
what's a spacewalk like? What do you feel?
What's a spacewalk like? Tell us. And I'm sure you'll include the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, so you really are, when you get in your spacesuit, you're putting on your own spacecraft. And so as you embark out through the hatchway, you know, the first thing you see is the Earth 250 miles below, and different than the perspective you get inside the space station, the helmet really provides almost this 180 panoramic view that's unobstructed. And I
wonder if he'll answer if he sees stars in space. Probably not, because they can't answer that question anymore, considering every one of them gets it wrong.
Very quickly forget that there's anything between you and the vacuum of space. Really, the only noise you hear is the quiet hum from my last EVA, where I was out on the very front of the space station, and I was getting ready to pack up a bag and come back inside, and I looked up, and there was just the Earth, the curve of the Earth, and terrain coming underneath me, and I could feel the speed of the station. You know, we're going 17,000 miles per hour through space, and it could feel the speed of that as I'm riding on the front, just looking out over everything in front of us. And it's just the emotions that just wash over you are
so emotional.
just hard to describe.
Right, so emotional. So yeah, that was Brad Pitt, and that link, of course, will be on the show notes as well. And yeah, so fun for all. Let's go back here and get this set up. And I just wanted to show you a few more things, and then we'll be pretty much done. But maybe I'll do a separate video on some of these things. I kind of tried to... I don't know if this will work. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to try something a little new today. I want to make sure that you're seeing... Can you see this little red light? Oh, you can. All right, this might be kind of fun. Hopefully you can see this. Yeah, so I don't know if you've ever seen these, but I just pulled as many as I could. These are the... hold on, I'm trying to make sure you can see, but this window's blocking... Yeah, I think you can. I'm just showing a PowerPoint presentation. Good. So I don't know if you've ever seen these SLS movie posters. Of course, they all have hilarious graphics. These guys coming out of Earth looking like a goofball. They've all got so much imagery and symbolism, occult ties. And, you know, if you recognize some of these movies, which I'm sure you will better than I do because I haven't, seen a lot of movies, or I don't watch a lot of movies. So I can't place a lot of them. But there's a lot of individual little important parts that you have to see in some of these. For instance, this one here. Again, these are just some that I put together. The station comes to life. These are kind of the simple ones that maybe people have seen before or have not. But some of them get pretty hilarious. This one here, you've got the, of course, Star Wars being represented. These are your astronauts. They're movie actors. That's all they are. Oh, they can feel the force with their swords. And again, I hated that movie. So, but you got Mars back here. Of course, you've got the triangle. You got to have that. And so funny. It's just nonsense. This one over here, you've got these jokers standing on the Earth. Of course, you have the ISS. Of course, you got the curve. You need all this. You need to sell this imagery. But again, a lot of them are interesting. This one here, you've got the Matrix, of course, because nothing puts you into the Matrix quite like the idea of space travel and believing this nonsense. If you want to believe it, go right ahead. If you want to believe these are scientists doing work 250 miles above your head, great for you. 3D printing organs up there and doing a lot of important science, really. These guys here, we got some light from above showing how great they are. It's just a triangle. Just a pyramid, if you will. Again, we've got more. We've got now Star Trek featured here. These are your intelligent astronauts, your best scientists, your 1 out of 4,000 applicants, putting on clothes to dress up and make it look like they're doing something important up there. We got this one over here. Of course, we've got the globe, and luckily we get to see the bending of space-time because it's hard to see. Usually it doesn't make a lot of sense, but here you can see the fabric. Here, this is a fabric sheet of space-time being bent by the Earth. These guys are all very serious. It's all very important stuff. Of course, you've got this one. If you've ever seen The Right Stuff, this is the movie. This is, proclaiming very important, very technical, very scientific. This, I don't know what movie this is. It might be Ocean something, which is hilarious if you think about what that is. It's all, about theft and stealing your money. Here's these guys looking all very important, extremely intelligent scientists doing, work for the Earth, off the Earth, from JAXA, from NASA, and they're all military or ex-military, which they call civilian, even though you've taken an oath to protect whatever secrets are given to you, including the faking of outer space. We've got this one here, Expedition 25. Again, you've got the pyramid down here. And a lot of people could decode these a lot better than I can because a lot of people might recognize what movies these are each trying to bite off of. I don't know, this one here, again, you can see the Earth back here, probably a little fabric, the moon, stars, very important scientific entities here. And here's the wonderful ISS, which they all operate on. I don't know what movie this is from, but somebody could probably decode that. You've got this little Mars or lunar rover that's supposed to be on the moon soon. It'll never be there. And these guys crossing some street. These guys in some sort of fighter jackets in front of some sort of fighter plane. I don't know. You've got this one here, which is interesting. It's a nice flat plane that these guys are on. With rockets taking off of it and with the ISS flying above it. And then just the coolness of the fact that these guys get to fly. Look at this guy flies. This guy flies. They're like Supermen, really. And I think we owe them at least $56 million a day for being able to fly. We can't fly. They can fly. It's very cool. This guy flies great. This guy throws mission patches at you for some reason. Again, I don't know what movie this is supposed to be. Tron? I don't know. We can go find hilarious ones like this one. Transporters, which truly what's going on here is more than meets the eye. Okay, that much I can get. Here we get the curved glass of the helmet with the Earth in it. Exciting. This one here, just another. There's Don Pettit. I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond, but Donkey kicked me in the face. So can't go. We lost that technology, but we have the technology to fly this thing around. Thank you, Pirates of the Caribbean. What's hanging down here? It just looks like it's a balloon or something. Can I zoom in on these? Oh, I can. Well, maybe I can't. Yes, I can. What is that going on there? Huh. I don't know what that is. Oh, those are airplanes. What? I have no idea what these guys are doing. I just don't get it. Anyway, let's continue. We got this one. Look at these guys. All just, the ball Earth. Spinning in space. Look at how amazed she is. Very intent. Very focused. Very happy. Thank you, Japan. Oh, I can put my dot there. Very exciting stuff. It's just movie posters. These are all just actors, and they all deserve Emmys for fooling the world for far too long. Here's these guys. Very intent. Got Chris Hadfield, who I'm sure I owe a shout out to for his masterclass ad that always plays in front of my movies, my videos. We've got the Earth, the curvature clearly shown. Show the curvature here. Very important. But again, there's so much occult stuff in these. If you look at all the triangles that are being drawn. Let's go to this one here. I like this, the devil's fork for who knows what reason. I don't know. I don't know what movie this is representing either. But again, these guys love to make their movie posters. These are scientists, by the way, doing science, helping the Earth, on Earth, away from the Earth, or whatever they say. I don't know what's going on here. Again, there's a lot more of these posters. If anybody ever wanted to do a good video, you could just go through each of these and really break them down. And there's tons more than I have. I just grabbed a few. You'll see my numbers skip all over the place. This one's hilarious. We've got, of course, the Vitruvian Man. Let's get back to that one. Let's go to this one instead here. We've got the Earth. This guy's taking handfuls of the sun, 93 million miles away, and making good notes here so that everyone knows exactly what's going on there. We've got this guy reaching up for Mars, this guy playing with the ISS, this guy with a magnifying glass, this guy checking out the moon. It's funny that this guy's reaching for this little comet. I say funny because many people might remember him. If you look at him closely, look at his little face. You'll remember him. He is the one that... Let's go back over to here. I lost it. Which one is it? Shoot. I had this set up, but I might have... Yeah, this one. You'll remember this guy from here. And Mike Helmick talking about it. Great video. I think this is on Mark Sargent's channel, but...
Augmented contact lenses so that they can interact with these 3D.
Do you guys remember this guy? He thinks he got handed the hat. What's he doing? Oh, I'll grab the hat. I'll put it over here. What? You didn't... It didn't really happen yet. So a lot of people think that there's some sort of augmented contact lenses or that they're using VR. Yeah. Can you disagree with that? I mean, look at this guy's dumbass face. Oh, put this over here. Oh. Yeah, not happening. But again, maybe you recognized him from that image. Bring it back up. So there he's just funny again. There he is reaching this time for a comet or something of that nature. Then you've got the Vitruvian Man behind these astronauts here. Possibly... Sorry, I have to keep checking. I've not done a PowerPoint before on OBS. Seems to be working fine. So we've got that, and I've pointed out before this Vitruvian Man. If you look here, this is the neutral buoyancy lab where the astronauts supposedly train with their scuba divers who come and hand them tools, as I'm sure they do in quote-unquote space as well. Many people who have seen my videos know exactly what I think about these scuba divers swimming around in this pool. But you'll notice the Vitruvian Man is located here as well. One of the things that I've pointed out before, if you zoom in up here, isn't it interesting? Well, they show the diving bell, of course, number one. This person is changing kind of astronaut to human. But if you look up here, there is a rocket breaking out of some sort of dome enclosure. The rocket is being shot up and it's cracking this thing here. Think of that what you will. We've got this one here, Mars Expedition 40, past, present, future. Or never going to Mars. These guys aren't going to Mars, but they'll stand in front of it. How about this one? The Expedition 42's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't panic. Oh, it's so funny. So good on this flat flying, I don't know, planet plate. Don't know what that is supposed to be. But there we got the ISS, and you got the curvature, of course. You got to include that, and Expedition 42. Again, we've got these jokers. I think we showed them already with Mars. We've got Metropolis. Again, I don't know what movie that is supposed to represent or what symbology we're supposed to see in it. Again, somebody could break it down and do it a lot better than I can. I'm just kind of going through these quickly. The ones I found, we've got this one, Expedition 47. Of course, this is funny because they're showing this in a fisheye view, which is exactly what we get from the high-altitude shots that they claim are the Earth coming from space or coming from the ISS. But this is all we get is the bent wings or the bent solar panels looking at a bent Earth. Over here, we've got the supposed ISS. Again, we've got the curvature. You got to show that. And all kinds of fun. This one, again, I think this is Ocean something, which, again, is the theft of people's money. And this is their poster here. This one here is interesting because this is like a puzzle piece for some reason. And this one actually shows you the Earth curved the opposite way, which is because of fisheye lenses and what they do to the solar panels of this craft. This is all what we see in space imagery. So they're just reminding you this is okay. It's okay to see the Earth bend the other way when the camera shifts its positioning. We've got this character and all his buddies. And again, you know, it's always with these triangle imageries. You can see them basically everywhere. We got one here. Another one, Expedition 55. Some nonsense here. This is some baseball-related one. And the Astros, of course. And for those who think I hate everything about space, I actually dislike the Dodgers and dislike the A's more than I dislike the Astros. So, see, I like some, or I guess I dislike them. But, yeah, Astros, third worst team that you love to hate just because they are from the Houston Astros. Oh, boy. Big league mission, major league teamwork. Bunch of crap. Here we got some more. I don't know what's going on in the background of this one. I don't know what movie this is supposed to be. No idea here, too. The mission continues. Going to the galaxies that Hubble paints for you and everybody believes in. Great. I don't know what this one is either. We got the curve. We got to show that. This is them looking out the window. I noticed we've got a progressive name your price tool here and a guitar and a space drill and a camera and another space drill and a 1990s car phone. But really, I think the best movie poster of all of them is the one that I made myself, which is Space Scam, coming to a theater near you. Get ready to scam, starring Buzz Aldrin with this face and Charles Bolden. I made that a long time ago when Charles Bolden was in charge of NASA. That's quite old. But again, just to show people, and I think many people have done videos on all these mission patches. If you need to see the symbolism here, you've got the, of course, pyramid with the removed capstone. Same thing here, if everyone knows what's going on with the dollar bill, the Illuminati symbolism. We've got this octopus covering the Earth. Nothing is beyond our reach. Yep. We got this pyramid again with some dragons breathing fire with their forked tongues on the Earth. Here we've got some dragon holding the Earth, holding a diamond. It's just so stupid. Here we've got to have some devil symbology. Get your kicks on 66. with, you got to have the devil here. Many people have seen all these before. Again, same thing as on the dollar bill. Flat horizon behind here. How about the Eye of Horus? The Illuminati symbolism is quite prevalent. Again, we've got the removed capstone here. Again, we've got it here. It's just all over the place and gets disgusting. There's, more. I showed that one. They've got some crazy ones like this one, Project Zipper. We make threats, not promises. Get a life. Cat's out of the bag in this one. Many people have seen all these other ones. Pawn, if you don't know what that is, look it up. Special projects. These are all NASA flight patches or, covert missions. Like this one, Don't Ask, NOYFB, which stands for None of Your Effing Business, if you didn't know that. Again, we've already seen some of these winged serpents and dragons holding the earth. This one, we've got the phoenix on fire. We've got the octopus. We've got the dragon holding the earth. We've got this wizard assessing the future. You've got this wizard holding control over the earth, striking it with some sort of lightning. You've got this god-like character striking lightning on the earth. What are they trying to show here, guys? That is the question. And, I don't know the answer. So let's get back to over here now. 1 second. Let me make sure I can pull us out of here. All right, so pull this up. By the way, thank you for the super chats. I didn't see that we got some while I was doing my PowerPoint. I'll have to look at those in a moment. Super chat from Truth Always Wins says, thank you, Jerem, for this and all the work you've done in my life and my girlfriend's life are better thanks to your videos. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do have some interesting things to show. We'll show that real quick. Not interesting things, but we showed all that. But I wanted to bring up a couple things that I got in the mail recently that I thought were pretty cool. By the way, I can tell this was from Amanda, who sent me a letter. Thank you very much, Amanda, for it. But I just wanted to point out that I can tell when people listen to my videos because you'll notice here that this was sent with 2-cent stamps. Just 2 1-cent stamps. See them on top there? And, of course, she followed my video to the T as far as writing first-class non-domestic BK-12 statutes at large, Chapter 71, Section 23, 37th Congress, and you can mail in the United States by putting zip exempt for 2 cents. So that's the kind of knowledge you get when you watch my videos, if you choose to do so. I wanted to point out that I got a book in the mail. I started reading it. So far, it's really good. Check it out. It's called The Voyage by Douglas Falk. I'm only a few pages in, so I can't say much about it. Got another super chat. Thank you very much from DRH. Appreciate the $1.99. But this book was signed by Douglas Falk. You can see a great cover of the book. It's called The Voyage, and it so far seems great. But I'm actually going to show you the other book that I received that I'm reading that you should check out. That is called The Spiral Life, and this one I'm actually a little bit further in. I'm just going to read something from the preface real quick just so you can know what it's about, because I think it's a great book, and thank you very much to Josh L. Brown for sending it to me. But it says, what follows is a combination of my views and opinions of life, health, and wellness, as well as various thoughts and topics to help you view and think about things differently, all of which culminate into a general philosophy that is the core of my coaching practice, Spiral Life, Health, and Wellness. So far, it's a great book. Easy to read. I'm about halfway through it. I'm going to finish it on my plane flight, which we'll talk about that here shortly. But again, check out www.thespiral.life, a great book by Josh L. Brown. I'm going to probably get him on to an interview just to have him talk about some of his ideas because I think it's great. I think you guys would appreciate it. If you want to contact him, www.thespiral.life/contact. So very cool. And lastly, I got another letter, or I got a few things. Ted Eldon, of course, sent me some stuff. If you want to find him, go to abodia.com. He's got that is a great wealth of a website. Check that out. Julie B. I already said thank you on Rob, but I want to make sure I say thank you again. I got a nice card from Floyd, who's always been very kind to myself. Thank you very much, Floyd, for the card. I appreciate it. Bruce S. sent me some ideas for my channel. Thank you, Bruce. Got all that. Appreciate that a lot. But I got this card from Scotland, which was funny, from Lisa, I believe, if I got her name right. Yeah, I think so. Just a funny card. I thought it was funny. You got this cat on the moon with her astronaut helmet. The inside of the card, of course, said, "To Jaren, in advance of your next birthday," which is a few months away. But anyway, have the best birthday in the history of the universe. This is proof that NASA have sent a cat to the moon. Okay, well, now I get that. Yeah. No. First, I had questions about it, but then she cleared it up. It says, and yes, it could see stars. So, okay, it's a little bit more realistic. Its real mission was to catch moon mice because the moon is made of cheese. Love your show. So I now understand why cats, and it is proof that NASA has sent cats to the moon because the moon is made of cheese and the moon mice need to be chased away by the moon cat. Makes sense, right? I think so. And I believe that's it for those. I wanted to point those out. Let's bring this back over here and make sure we're set up for this. Okay. Not much left. Please join us for Globebusters on Sunday. Don't ever miss a Globebusters show. It is at 12 noon Pacific. It's awesome. You can join Ben, myself, Iru Landucci, and of course, Bob Xanadude60 for a fun show. And we always have guests and everything else. That's fun. Thank you, Art Claffin says, thanks for all your work, Jeranism. This can't read that close. 2.5 month awakening has just been insane, and you've been a big part of the process. Yeah, it's a lot to wake up to, and a lot to continue seeing. But, you know, again, sometimes you're just going to catch me making these videos where I point out the obvious, have some fun with it, but really, it is what it is. People can believe, if they want, that they live on a spinning ball. It's okay. You know, I'm not going to get mad at them. I understand what we've all been through. The indoctrination runs deep, and people will truly believe anything. They'll believe that they're on a spinning rock out in outer space in a vacuum with attached atmosphere flying around, and that we're inconsequential, and that God, you know, some people believe God created this, which makes no sense if you believe that God created this small little Earth with people on it, and then all the other galaxies and all the other stars and everything are just extra. What makes more sense is that this Earth was created for us, and that everything we see is a part of that. It's above us. It operates perfectly for us, and we're supposed to look at it and recognize signs of creation, signs of intelligence. And then that should give you a sense of importance. Why you're here. What's your job while you're here? This is just a testing ground. And what happens after this, none of us know. But a lot of us have been convinced that nothing happens, that we're all inconsequential. It's just some joke. Doesn't matter if it passes away tomorrow. We're just amoebas on some little rock. And again, if you think that that's true and you think you live in the period of time where humans are smart enough to figure out how long it's all been here, even though we're just ants on some rock, get out. Get out, and get out quickly. So check out Globebusters, noon Pacific, Sunday. Join us. It will be fun. I already thanked patrons. I wanted to make sure I did that. But I do want to point out, and I won't talk too much about it just because it's a ways away, but FE 2019 coming up in less than 60 days. No, am I wrong on that? No, yeah, less than 60 days. So we'll talk about that in a future show just to give you that. But again, come join us for that. It's going to be fun. That's going to be in Dallas, Texas. Come see Dealey Plaza. I can't wait to see that. Never seen it before. I'll be checking that out. Doing a lot of stuff from there. We'll have Owen Benjamin there. That should be great. He's going to be doing comedy and all kinds of other things and all kinds of other guest speakers, so that'll be fun. But one thing I did want to promote real quick because, and I'll probably do another show before I leave, but this is coming up very quickly. We'll be talking about it coming up, and then it'll be happening in really, well, when do I leave? Less than a week? I leave in less than a week, but really we're about a week from it. But that's when I'll be finishing off The Spiral Life and probably finish reading Douglas, or at least start reading Douglas Falk's book. His is a little bit more small writing. It'll take a little longer to read. But yeah, I definitely recommend The Spiral Life as I will finish that, but it's been great so far. So I'll be doing that on the plane ride as I head to Amsterdam. So please come and join us. Should be fun. It's not too expensive. You can stay in the cabins with us. We're having a great meet and greet on Friday, a whole convention on Saturday. Let's see if we can find the schedule. So yeah, this is basically the schedule. We'll be having some fun on Friday. Get together, campfire, people playing guitars, you know, fun stuff like that. That'll be a good time. and a party. Excuse me. Saturday, we've got all of the speaking engagements. I think this is a little bit outdated because I've read it recently, and I think it's changed a little bit. And then on Sunday, we'll be doing some activism on the streets of Amsterdam with the Globe Lie Euro Tour. So that should be fun. So check out my channel for sure on Sunday for some live views. Also on Saturday, kind of as I get ready to do my speech, I'll probably go live if I can. I'm not sure how all this works being out of the country, so don't hold me to too much. I'll do the best I can. I don't know what the rules are. I mean, can I just go to Amsterdam with my iPhone and just stream from there? I'm not sure. It should work, but I don't know how it all works. So again, it'll be fun, but I'll try and keep everybody up to date with exactly what's going on. Should be fun. There's awesome speakers there. Of course, Iru Landucci will be there. We've got Dave Murphy, allegedly Dave, Dr. Zach. Like I said, Iru, Karen B will be there. Paul on the Plane will be there. Rodrigo Ferrari Nunez will be there, the PhD and social and cultural anthropologist. Mark Devlin. And again, we'll be meeting up with the Globe Light Tour. And a great job. This event's being put on by Gary John and Dee Dee Vaughn. And they've done fantastic, keeping all of us speakers up to date with exactly what's going on, what we need to bring, what we don't need to bring. But I just hope to see a lot of you there. So again, I'll probably be doing one more show at least before I leave. So I'll just remind people again to come out. If you're in that area, come by, say hi, and hang out. Should be fun. And again, after that, we'll be talking a lot about FE 2019. Hopefully you guys can come out to Dallas to check that out. And I believe that is it. Do I have anything else on my list? No, I do not. So again, if you want to mail me something like everybody I just read, I always go through the mail. If you've sent me something and you don't remember me mentioning it, it was probably because it was on Raw. Kind of alternate back and forth. So, obviously I have my Raw show. If you're not watching that, what's wrong with you? That's every Monday night, and that is on tfrlive.com, Mondays between 6 and 8 p.m. Or you can catch that on my other YouTube channel, Jeranism Raw. If you're not subscribed there, get over there. It's only about 10,000 subs, but I do the live show on there for 1 hour every Monday. So check that out. If you're not seeing that, you should add to that. See here. Petition to have Sophia capture a lunar eclipse in December. Yeah, right. Truth Heard sent that, but believe me, and you would just get all, it's just like when we say, how about petition to have NASA put a camera on the moon showing the Earth? They're talking about sending these unmanned drones to the moons of Saturn, and people buy into this. But they can't send a camera to sit on the moon to show the Earth 24 hours a day. Talked about this a million times before. You could put logos of different companies as advertisements. It would pay for itself. NASA won't do it. Why? Because they're a fabrication. They're actors. It's all a joke. It's all a hoax. Believe it if you want. Do I? Hell no. And if you do, well, I don't want to say you have a screw loose, but you do. And you have a hard time screwing it back. That's it. I mean, we all got the screw loose from indoctrination from a very young age. But it is possible to grab a screwdriver and just work it back. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Go right, tighten it back up. Because it's gotten away from us if we believe that we're going to be colonizing Mars and eating potatoes with Matt Damon. Okay? It's just not going to happen. Nobody's going to Mars. Nobody can go to Mars. Nobody's going to the moon. Nobody ever went to the moon. Figure it out. Don't know what else to tell you. But anyway, if you want to send me something like everybody else has done, or like some people have done, P.O. Box 3044, Merced, California, 95344. If you want to support this channel, I would greatly appreciate it. You can become a patron, patreon.com/Jeranism. Or if you have Venmo, send me a little tip. Send me $5, $1, I don't know, $2, $2.23. Something. Venmo, @Jeranism. And if not, just support this channel by hitting the Rogans up, hit the thumbs up, or hit the thumbs down if you don't like this video. That is fine by me. But share it if you like it. And if you enjoy the movie, if you enjoy the video, and you don't want to donate monetarily, all I ask is that you hit the thumbs up or thumbs down. One way or the other. Either you don't like it. If eventually my videos have 100 thumbs down and no thumbs up, well, maybe I'll stop doing them. Yeah, that's an easy way to put it. But again, that's basically it. We went through space news today. That was fun. We went through flat earth news a little bit. Talked about the Emmys. Talked about Astronauts High on Science. Again, all the links will be in the description. And I thank you guys again for joining me as you normally do. Appreciate it. We'll be back soon. I remind you guys, as always, to do your own research, because when you do, you'll never again believe what you've been taught. Till next time, this has been Jeranism. Peace.